Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Prelude to Positivity. My name is Tommy Geraci. Today, my guest is Aaron Machado. He is creator and co-host of the Wetdown Podcast, and I'm going to let him describe that to us. And then he does something with Thistle Ferris CBD, which everybody knows that I'm a big proponent of. So we want to find out all about CBD, the uses, the goodness of it. I already know, but maybe everybody else needs to know. Welcome, Aaron. How are you?
I'm doing well, Tommy. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity. A well-spoken man like yourself. So thank you for
Well,
having me.
I appreciate you coming by so people can get to know you and a little bit deeper. I mean, I know we've been on Clubhouse a lot, so we know each other as deeply as you can being on Clubhouse many hours a day.
Exactly. Yeah. No, that then the time difference too. When don't you go back and forth to LA, right? I think
Well,
you
I've
had
been
said that a handful of
stuck in
times.
New York because of the pandemic, so I'm in one spot. But when we start traveling again, I don't know how I'm going to fit all that in with the Clubhouse. It's going to be a little weird, but we'll figure it out.
That's what Wi-Fi on a plane is for, right?
Yeah.
Pods. Just tell everybody, shh, I'm on stage, guys. Just leave me alone. Let me talk.
Speaking at a conference.
But that's the funny part. Everyone on the plane is there. So then it's just the stewardesses. They're walking around moderating. They're the
Oh,
ones
I'm sure.
really
I'm sure we
moderating.
do. I do wonder though how it's going to go when we go back to life 100% because I can't imagine people canceling plans and all that because I can't because I have to do this Clubhouse thing. Like that's a lot. That's going to be a lot, and you can't speak on Clubhouse for 7 hours a day and do all the
Yeah,
other things you need to do. So it's going to be rough.
that is tough. But what I've found is the rooms that go for those 7, 8 hours, they do them in shifts, which is nice. They plan them out. They've got some good logistics behind the scenes. But I don't know, like the rooms I like the spur of the moment, the ones that, I might need some help in a certain
Yes.
situation. So, I mean, I had a trademarking question and, I connected with lawyers just for that. And it's phenomenal. Like I put it up, trademarking Q&A, everyone speaks. And all of a sudden it was just full of people, just lawyers all over the place, just saying, what are your questions? We can help. And obviously they want us as clients. So they're going to spit this information,
Yeah. Sure.
mainly for free too. So, because they want your attention. They want you to come work for them or in some aspect, they want to work with you. So, I mean, it's a great opportunity, but it's a double-edged sword we've all seen. It's like the internet.
Oh
So,
yeah. Oh yeah.
you know,
So when you're not spending your time on Clubhouse, you have your own podcast, which is called the Wetdown Podcast. Can you explain the meaning behind Wetdown? What does that mean?
oh, okay. So the Wetdown podcast. All right. So the Wetdown's more of a play on words for us. I'm a Marine and I'm long since retired. In 2012 is when I got out. I can't say retired. I didn't
Mm.
do anything of significance for myself. So let's just say that 2012 ended that era and I went back to being me with a sharpened fine set of skills of, different things. But the Marine Corps was a big part of my life. I learned a lot and I had a lot of good friends. So when I wanted to create the idea of a podcast and sit down, I wanted it to be like you had mentioned, I'm a co-host. Well, I'm a co-host because I wanted it to be like a conversation with your buddies. I wanted
Mm.
it to be a low key thing, something you could relate. And then when we really got talking and doing it, we wanted to have the meaning and the value because everybody listens to a podcast for a specific reason, whether they want to know something. Some people like to just relate, to other people for whatever it may be, or it could be, something as simple as Seinfeld, a show about nothing where everybody enjoyed, but it was literally about nothing. and Jerry even came out and said, he's like, I don't understand why it's so popular, but that's because everybody could relate to it in some aspect. And just like, The Office, like the reason these shows got to be this way were because of that. So the mindset was, all right, now we need to find a way to do that. And we needed to have guests. Well, we're not famous enough, obviously, to pull in, those big fish, the people, the celebrities. We're not famous enough for that, but we have cool network connections. And the idea was to have a person that can have a set of skills and bring some value.
Mm.
And that's what the Wetdown is for our show. Wetdown in the Marine Corps is a bachelor night out. You don't pay for a damn thing. The celebration is you. It's like your birthday. It's as equal as that. And you don't remember a damn thing the next day. And that's it. That's what we do. We celebrate. We're brothers. That's how we want to, to feel. And a lot of the feedback we get from our podcast and from our guests is like, it's just hanging out with my boys, like my friends that are
Yeah.
guys. Like we have we all benefit each other in some way, and the age differences between us fit perfectly. Like the crew is just right where it needs to be. So I couldn't have even come close to getting to where we are without them. So it's nice that they've been able to be a piece of this, because it's not just me. They're a massive piece. I needed to have the different pieces of the puzzle. Just operating your own podcast can be difficult. I mean, I didn't realize how much work really goes into getting everything out there. If I was doing this by myself, I praise you, Tommy, for doing what you do. I mean, we split up the work evenly between us. So, obviously we have other things in life that we have to do, but that's what the Wetdown is. It's the celebration of you. The guest who comes on, the whole show is catered to you. You get to come on the show, you hang out with us, we meet with you, we talk with you, but it's all unscripted and it's unfiltered. I mean, we edit out whatever might need to be done for legal purposes, of course, but it's just about you. You can do whatever it is you like. You can say whatever it is you want. The only rule we have is you don't be an asshole.
That should be
So
the life.
it is, but for a lot of people, that keeps what we've found with that rule is that keeps people in check. If everyone has that line for themselves of what they think is that person, so if they stay there, we're good, because we can just be like, all right, that's where that person's line is. We know how far to push the conversation. We're not going to go any farther, and we'll definitely steer away or edit out if something was wrong. But of course, but that's what we want, is like a good story for everyone to know, because everyone has some sort of something. If you look in the next 100 years of what's been recorded of what happened in the last year, it's going to be amazing. And I kind of wanted my name and other, I wanted to impact people in some way, but do it in a way that I only know how, and to just be like whatever goofy, shitty person self of myself that I can be, just like whatever, man, just have some fun, live a little. And if I help one person from whoever I bring on the show or from what we might talk about, then we've succeeded. So that's what we're really trying to do. It's just, we had nothing. We felt we needed to do something during the pandemic, and that's what the Wetdown became.
Cool. And you mentioned the Marine Corps, so I want to thank you for your service, first of all, because we don't forget that ever. And then what was that experience like for you, as far as where you were, things you did? Did you learn a lot while you were in there, obviously, right?
Yeah, of course. So I learned more about life than I could ever have learned from a small town in Connecticut. And, I graduated high school with 60 kids, like roughly. So I feel like there's more cows than people. I mean, there's not much, from in that area. And I always wanted to be one of those people that was like, I knew that there was more to the world, and I wanted to see it. I wanted to find it. And I did. I made some choices. People get hurt along the way from doing different things, but that really helped me figure out who I was at that time. So in that point in my life, I didn't join right out of high school. I waited a little while, and I had found myself going down a path that I didn't want to go, and I needed to fix it. Well, I did that. The Marine Corps helped shape my plan, but really what it built for me was like the camaraderie, a family. It was somebody that I knew would have my back no matter what. I had just met these people, but they went through the same shit I did. And I know I can trust somebody that went through the same shit I did, because we're equals when it comes to that point. And these, I got to meet really good people from all over that had the same upbringing, same kind of life, same hardships.
Mhm.
And they really relate with you. So it helps build a connection. So at that point, you're like, all right. And you don't understand that a lot of the times these are lifelong connections that you make. I mean, I keep in touch with a handful of people, but they're all the people that have either benefited my career or helped me move myself forward and, make myself a better person. They're the ones that help me keep in check if things go wrong. We all keep each other in check. If somebody starts to stray off on a bad path, we're like, nah, dude. It's like feeling shame from your boys like that is like, it's one of the worst feelings in the world. When I say it's a gun club, that's what it feels like. It's you don't wrong your brothers when you can, and you have to be loyal to them. So that's the experience that I got from the Marine Corps. But then when you get out, that's all gone. You go back home and you're like, man, all these people want to hang out and all that stuff. And then the high of you being home is just like, whatever. And then most of the people just think you're an asshole. So they're like, wow, your humor's too shitty, or you're not a good person, or I can't drink at 6 a.m. And like, you know, that's kind of what it became. And I was like, no, that's where my life had gone. And it's just, it's a difficult thing. You want to feel like you're a part of something again. And that's what I had always wanted, is to find, like, again, the impact. So to have an impact somehow. And it's been great. I mean, it's made me more resilient, I can say. Like, the best experience from it is I had to deal with a lot of shit, but a lot of it was my own doing. And, you know, until I figured that out and I accepted that, and I'm like, man, I made so many mistakes, but I had the right people by me to help me out of those mistakes. And I don't feel like I could have had those friends in the civilian world. I honestly, if I could go back in time in some sort of way and see the alternate reality or universe of what it would be, I'd be interested to see, you know, like, have the ghosts pick me up on Christmas, you know, like, to see what life would have been if I had done something different, you know. And if we maybe, you know, just the mistakes, they add up, and you're just like, wow. But the Marine Corps just, it helps, and it can be a positive. I'll say this. I like to say this a lot lately. I don't know why, but it's a double-edged sword. It's what you make it. Your experience can be everything you make it, or it could be everything that you don't want it to be. And if you want it to be terrible, it's going to be terrible. I can tell you that right now. I used to like running. Now I hate myself. I'll go running, but I hate myself the entire time I'm doing it, because I had to do it so much all the time. That's all we did. That's what you do. That's, as a Marine, 90% of the time, all you do is run. So when we joke around about running, it's like, people, when they look at me, they want to go for a run. I'm like, no. They're like, why do you do it? Because I know I need to do it, because I'll get fat. I know, because I just did. I got fat over the break. And now, like, I call it the break, because it's just like a massive life break. It's just, I call it a pause, really, because that's what it was. It's a pause to life. You know, and this is where we get to pick up our extra lives and go back at it. But I wanted to come out of it healthier, a better person, not go down, especially when science came out saying, you know, the podcast, just like the podcast world is getting bigger. Everybody's getting knowledge now. Everybody's getting new hobbies, and microphones went on sale like crazy on Amazon because everybody wanted to have a podcast because everybody's home. Exactly. Like, think about how many things, like, good things happened. And then this, I didn't want to come out looking terrible. If I'm going to be making a podcast, I want to be in shape. I'm going to have my face out there. I'm promoting myself. I'm going to be a speaker somewhere, maybe. I don't know where this leads. If some people on Clubhouse, I'm sure you've heard from all of the different stuff. A retired TV woman had said, have you ever thought of this being a TV show? I just was like, no. I was like, we just thought of this like a year ago, and we're just now getting it on the ground. Like, we didn't think of that far, but she did. And then she's like, well, we'll be in touch. And I was like, who's we? And then she left. I don't know who she was. I saw her name. I was looking at her thing, and she disappeared. So I was like, wow, man. Like, I don't know where this goes.
Nobody. Do you put it on YouTube too? You have it?
Yeah, we do. We do everything on YouTube. So as well. But that's because my parents, I know my mom and dad like to watch, because they don't get to see me, obviously, too often. We live kind of far apart. You know, just friends, family. Some people prefer to watch these, you know, these versions of things than this. I like using this platform too on Zoom. It's great, really, for us so far.
You get the audio and the video, and you can put both, because some people like to, I mean, I don't know how many people are still commuting places, but when you commute, you like to listen to things, so it makes it easier. But if you're home, you can watch something, and that's cool.
Absolutely.
And you always give people choices.
Exactly.
Choices.
Exactly. And if you figure it out and you do it right, I mean, you get up all the numbers that you can, you'll have something. It's really all about the consistency. And that's like everything that I find I do now is because of the Marine Corps. Maybe the way I treated people, a lot of the problems, like, especially if I treated them poorly, were because of that. And a lot of it's just the way we talk to each other on some stuff. It's just the way we do things with some stuff. But then there's other times when you're like, man, you shouldn't be saying some of the stuff that you say, just because that's just what assholes do. But then you go on the level of, like, it can benefit you to, I get up every morning at, 5:30 in the morning. I work out. My kid caught me working out one day. Now he wants to work out because he sees me doing it. And, like, he wanted to learn how to do push-ups. He wanted to learn how to do burpees and stuff like that. It's little things like that he sees that brings a better structure to my life, that helps me realize that I did this once before. I don't know why I stopped. It made me a better person in the beginning, and it kept me on a good path. Why did I ever stop doing it? And then I just stopped because I got lazy. I got into the world of like, I don't got to do that. And I felt like the world owed me shit. It didn't, but that's what I felt like. So now it's all about being disciplined and consistency, and get this and fix that problem as much as I can, and knock down whatever thing that I can. And that's the new path that I'm on. And it's all because of my realization of the pandemic, the pause, how this all worked, and how that's how I used to be. So I should be that again, and maybe even be better. If I was good before, I could be better. And that's what I wanted to be this time around. So why not?
It sounds like the Marine Corps kind of prepared you for 2020.
Yeah, I mean, it really did. If you want to think about it, my buddies and I laugh at that all the time. But we kind of just all sit back and just watch, and you really see what's going on. But I'd be scared for the world if that happened, with all of the retired guys like just sitting around wanting to do just something crazy to go nuts. Just be like, yeah, come on, try me. Let's have a fight just for fun, so I can scare you away and then go away. But that's really about it. But I mean, it did. I can say it definitely did, because there's a lot of loneliness in this world. There's a lot of loneliness back, then, and there's so much now for people. And that's why these podcasts are great if people are picking them up as a hobby. Just don't stop doing it. Just have fun with it. You can find, like, even if you lose a passion for it, you'll find something fun to make it fun again. Just do something different.
You can always reinvent and keep reinventing.
Exactly. And that's what's so much fun is, I don't know, I feel like you get to do something new every day or impact somebody differently. I don't know. I feel like my conscience in the universe are now working together to create good, more so than create just terrible crap that could just happen,
Yeah.
So, I mean, and obviously, being surrounding myself with people like yourself. I mean, our fun little groups that we have on Clubhouse. I mean, I know the people that are in there are all very successful entrepreneurs, and they're all very single, like very, very single, good entrepreneurs too. They don't need people. That's the best part. They want to be around other people. They don't need you. And that's what's nice, is that those people, the people that we hang out with and we talk to a lot, they want to be around you. And, talking from my awesome little shout out to my partner, Jen. Yeah. Shout out to her. I mean, my friend here. Yeah, we'll talk about that. But she brought you and I together in a room. I had no clue what was going on, and we got to talk, and it was great. It was one of the best feelings in the world to see all of these successful people being together in a room, and they all just want to be here and connect. They don't want anything else other than just reality, to keep it 100% real. And it's nice.
I think it came at the right time too, because the pause was happening. If this had happened before the pause, I think everyone would be trying to sell you something at this point, even on there, because they're so used to it in their life, they'd still be like sell.
Yeah, but I can't wait to see all the knockoffs that are going to come from this. All the people that are going to try to develop this app and do the same thing that's coming out, because that this has caught fire, all over social media. You see it everywhere. And I did, and I was sitting there before waiting forever. I'm like, when am I going to get in on this? I signed up over the summer, I think, and I didn't get anything for I don't know how long. And then my friend, a guy that I reconnected with, that we went to school together, he gave me the access to it, and I was just like, wow, thank you. And he was like, I got you, man. And it helped him out, and he's like, I think it'll help you in the show. He's like, take it as a gift. He's like, use it how you want. And we've used it together, and it's helped. Networking is huge.
Really,
so
it's the only way to do it now.
Yeah. People are lonely, so you need to talk.
So other than the podcast, you also have Thistle Thera CBD. What is that about?
So our podcast had a gentleman by the name of Chris Thistle of Thistle Therapies in Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
He is close to somebody else that I know who can speak highly of him. I trust him more than I trust him with everything. Let's just put it that way. There's nothing I can't trust this man with. He wasn't in the military, but he knows exactly who he is. If he listens to this, he'll know who I'm talking about. But he steered me in this direction. He knows that I use CBD. He knows that I'm a big, plant lover for that. I mean, it's helped me with all of my joints and problems. I had to surgery when I was a kid on my left arm. I have metal all over my arm. It's terrible. And as you get older, this shit sucks. So that was another reason why I got back on the workout wagon and kept going, because my bones started to really hurt. I was too fat for my little frame. But I just realized that CBD wasn't enough. I needed to do something to get healthy. This plant has so many uses. You've got CBD, you've got CBN for sleep, you got CBG, like this is stuff that I got educated on my own podcast. And CBG is like the equivalent of taking stem cell therapy. I mean, why? It's for plants. So why wouldn't, in our bodies, our, organisms, so why wouldn't it work? Try it out. I mean, the worst thing that can happen is nothing,
Right.
Nothing's going to happen for you. So what's the worst? The risks don't outweigh the benefits there. I'm sorry. They just really don't. So I've done the topical creams. I've had the tinctures. I've tried them all. And they really helped me with my tobacco use too. I used to dip like a fiend. I don't dip anymore because of CBD. That damn plant and all of its ways that it can be used has helped me fix a lot of shit in my life. So when everybody gets approached by CBD people, and they got the gas station CBD guys, you got all that crap, and you don't want, you don't want that. It's stuff that, especially if it's got flavors in it. You see people like, oh yeah, get this flavored tincture, dude. You're just drinking corn syrup at that point. Like, it's gross. I'm not no scientist, but I'm not dumb either. Like, I don't outsmart my common sense. And I sat down with Chris, and he was like, I'd really like to talk about this, and we can talk on your show. I was like, for sure, man. The way it's helped me, let's educate as much as we can. So on our episode that we had, like I said, he had explained CBN, which is, more profound for sleep. It helps you dream, because when you smoke cannabis or you fall asleep, there's that the psychoactive component, but it also just makes you sleepy. It puts you out. Most people, when they get really high, they don't dream. You just go right to sleep. You wake up and you're like, oh damn. And you kind of feel refreshed and go on the next day, or however you feel. Everybody's different. But the awesome part about that is your brain will let your body relax, but your brain's still being active in the way it needs to stay, sharp for whatever your body's needs are. And he wanted to talk about it. We talked as much as we could. He tried to spit as much knowledge as he could. We're going to be having most of our guests that we have, we're going to be asking them to come back. And I know he'll be one of them, because obviously we have a business deal with him as well. We get 15%. He gets 15% off when you use the code. And that's fantastic, because he doesn't really give out deals except for some holidays, but they're few and far between now. I mean, what holidays you got after Valentine's Day? Not many. I mean, you got Memorial Day. I mean, that's 3 more months. Exactly. But he's giving you free shipping and 15% off from my code. So why not have it? Right. But I also wanted, it's a way for this podcast to self-sustain, because it does benefit for that. It goes right into, the 15% off. That money gets put to us, and we get to use it for however we want. And it's slowly building. We use, I know people are buying, they're going to keep buying, because Chris has got, he's got so many posts. He's got a group on Facebook that's got, I think, close to 500 people or more, for different clients. He ships all over the world. He helps people. There's testimonials, there's pictures, and I had never seen that from anybody. And I'd been approached by a couple people for this already, just for the podcast, being like, hey, I got CBD, I want to do this, like little smoke shops, just local stuff. And I right away, I was just like, no, we're not big enough yet. I can't hit what you're going to ask. And there's just no way, like, this is not right yet. But this is something that's right, because Chris is at the right stage. We're all growing together. And he's just phenomenal in the way he runs his business. I mean, I can't say anything more highly of him than one of the most professional people I've met. He really truly wants to help people when it comes to this. So to have an affiliate deal that represents a new brand and a new upcoming name like us, we want to be able to have that cohabitive space, and we share an image. We want to create an empire somehow. So he's going to do it, and I know he does, because he's got the right investors, he's got the right people behind him, backing him. There's no reason for him to not succeed, and that's what we want to do, is succeed. It's contagious when you have the right people, and that's how we're all going to do it.
Cool. So between that and the podcast, how are you utilizing social media to achieve the goals that you have set for the podcast and the CBD and yourself personally?
Yeah, so I mean, what we're doing with the podcast is, obviously we followed all of the people we know, because that's the best thing. What Clubhouse has done is given us that access to people we don't know. But so now when you go into a room and you're on stage and you get to talk to people, people ask who you are. What do? You network. They want to know what you're doing. Well, in my profile, it explains this is what we do. This is what we have. This is what we want. And then we've been getting pitched. I mean, I don't care what happens to me personally. What I want is my team to succeed with me. I don't want to do this all by myself. This is too scary of a world for me to do this by myself. I honestly, I feel like I'm more introverted than I've ever been, but I'm also still kind of extroverted, which is weird. I'm not afraid to talk to people now. I had a lot of stage fright before the podcast, but I always knew I could do this once I got past that barrier. Now I'm past that barrier. Now I get to sit with strangers like yourself and talk with you randomly on an app that I never met before, and we can all coexist. We all have good conversations. I mean, why not? Now we're here together doing this. So I mean, social media is awesome, but the way it's working for us is it couldn't be any better. I mean, now other they tag us, they show us. We're working on getting the hashtag bigger, obviously, for the Wetdown.
Yeah.
And if people start throwing that in there for different things, Kevin, one of our co-hosts, I'll name drop him and shout him out too at the same time. We all know Kevin. Everybody has a Kevin in their life, and he posted on our social media of him trying to go sledding. Well, he's from California. Never. And when he came out east, he came out here, the snow was pretty much melting, and he had never really seen snow before. And because he moved back, he came out here in spring, and then he went to Florida, stayed in Florida, but now he lives up here. Remarkably, it's weird. He made it he 5,500 miles before he's up. We're hanging out together. It's wild. But anyways, he never seen snow, but he tries to go sledding for the first time, and he steps on the sled, falls, and just busts his face in there. And that's one of the best videos we could have. People have seen it. It's been shared a bunch. It's great, and that's what we have. We have the authenticity of us just being or learning on this. People are watching us grow in the baby steps. So I wonder what it's more like for the followers to see us on how we're elevating, because it's changing. And I see it. Other people have seen it. I'm getting texts from so many different people being like, "Hey, this is wild. I can't, I saw your face on YouTube when I sign in now. It shows up in my recommended bar." Or my favorites are when I'm getting the texts of I can really relate to what you're saying. Yo, nice promo video. That's a really good one this week. I'm going to listen now. This is stuff that we're getting. And now that we have enough content, I mean, we can start, thanks to some pretty wise people, including yourself, I'm going to start showing more appreciation for what we're being told. I guess, I didn't know etiquette would be good to show people the appreciation we've been receiving, but it's nice to see it, and it's going to be fun. We're going to grow. Hopefully the next steps are endless to where this could be.
It's going in the right direction. That's for sure.
I hope so.
Direction continues, and there's anything to be said about motivation, and then the direction you're going in will create that kind of momentum for you, then it'll be amazing.
Yeah, that's what we're really trying to make that impact. Whether it's we know what our roles are now, we fit our roles, we stay in them for where we're at, especially with our show. So it's great. We stay in our lane. We know what to do, and it's great. The chemistry has really formed. I mean, I will never listen to my first episode. Maybe when I'm at episode 1,000 is when I'll listen to it. And I'll say that on this, but I'm going to take a mental note that I might listen to it if I get to 1,000 episodes, or more when, because I don't see this stopping anytime soon. And when I do, I'll listen to that first episode of me doing it and just sit there, cringe and want to pull my ears out.
No, you learn a lot about audio and video, lighting, sound, having the right microphone. Like there's so many things you don't think about before you start doing it, and then you're like, listen to the first one, you go, I need to fix that, and I need to fix this, and it's simple. There's some simple solutions you can figure out.
Absolutely. No, and what's wild is I'm not somebody that's been in front of the camera ever. I don't do camera, I don't do microphones, I don't do audio, I don't do the AV stuff that the kids did in school. I never did any of that. I was the one out playing sports, outside getting dirty, getting in
Mm.
fights with my friends, doing things that I shouldn't have been doing. And I wasn't doing this. So for me to be doing this, it's like learning all over again. I don't know how many pages of Google that I searched and just hours I put into just figuring out what microphone to spend money on.
Yep. Yeah, and then editing is another thing you have to learn, and I
Yeah.
go that a million
It,
times how to do it the right way.
oh, the software to use. I remember doing it the first time and being like, this is going to take me 5 hours to do every week. Like, and all I did was add just a handful of things. And I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be able to do this. And then every day that 5 hours went to 3.5 and then 3. And then it just slowly, now I can cut and make videos, do everything for myself in under an hour. And I can do the whole week's worth of stuff in under an hour and do it right because I got the right feedback that I had needed. So it worked.
Yeah, it goes as you go. As you go, you learn. As you learn, you get quicker at it. Or actually, just get more efficient, I would say. Not that it doesn't necessarily have to be faster, it just has to be efficient.
Yeah, I would say efficient is by far the better word
Mm.
because there's still mistakes. I see them, I make them, but I'm not going to take them down. It's great for the mistakes to be there because it's a reminder of don't do it. If you delete all of your mistakes so people don't know that you're making them, then they're not, they understand. Everybody that listens to us, they understand. Until I get to that level of I have a professional guy that can make this stuff
Yeah,
and this is a bigger thing and
yeah,
we're talking to more and more people.
yeah.
This is what you're going to get from me because I'm not this guy to do this. I do other things in my life than
I
this.
know. Oh my God, I thought the coolest thing was that I had a friend of mine write original theme song for me, and I was like, I have a theme song. That's all I need. I don't. The rest of it I could care less, but I have a theme song.
Oh, that is so awesome. Oh my God. No, we've actually talked to our friend who was a producer, came on our show. He's asked us if he's like, hey, I'm down always to create if you ever want one. So maybe I should be like, hey man, we should tap into that and get some of that. All we've gotten so far, we've had requests for merchandise. But all we have right now are just stickers.
Okay, that's not bad. That's
So
not. But
exactly, it's not
I
bad
say
at
a theme
all.
song is cool because a theme song, if it's an original written one, not the canned ones that they have. There's ones that you can get for free, but I listened to those and I was like, none of those catch the personality or the message that I want to relate with this. So someone creating it for you basically knows what you're trying to do. It comes out and you hear it and you're like, that's exactly what I want to be associated with because that's the branding. So the sound should be the branding.
Absolutely. And that's why we're very picky. Like we haven't gone that far. Obviously, we have the right branding in the right places. We do
Mhm.
things in the subtle aspect
Yeah.
of business. And that's what we want to do because we are people that aren't going to stop. We're going to keep going. I think people wrote us off pretty early in the beginning, especially when they heard how shitty our episodes were.
Oh
I really
man.
think that they did. I think we lost more people in the beginning than we could have ever lost. But you know what? I know that those same people will come back and those people will be like, all right, he's still going. I just
Yeah.
wonder. And that
Yeah.
wonder will do more
How they
for
did
us
it.
than anything, especially if they were a hater and they're wanting me to fail or wanting us to fail in any way. They're not going to pay it. They're going to pay attention more. So let's do it.
So with all this going on that you have and your life and your family so what is it that you're most passionate about out of all that?
Really, I want to take what I've learned about myself. I want to help others from knowing what I've learned about myself and really figuring out what I can do to be better.
Mm.
There's not much that I've had to do to become better, but I mean, there's just enough. You can always improve. I mean, I can eat better. I can keep my temper, I mean, I can toss my ego out the door now a lot better than I ever could. Pride is taken a back seat in my life to a lot of things now. Like I can be proud, but I don't need to be prideful. So there's different, like there's a difference between, life in that aspect for me. But I really want to see others succeed. And as of lately, I don't know why I've been helping others connect so much on Clubhouse, and it's nice to see them connect because I've seen some artists different artists connect with different producers. Somebody that I might have been like, all right, this guy follows me, I'm gonna ping him, maybe he'll show up. If he does, awesome. If he doesn't, cool. But those people that have shown up, they're like, wow, now I've got a new piece to work with. Now I've got somebody in my corner. Now I've got this. Thank you so much. They're so appreciative. And I'm just like, wow, all I did was push a button and I made this person show up, listen to you. And they said, thanks, Aaron, for telling me about this place. Cause I had built the relationship with them somehow. And that's how I ended up here with you, because, there's a new business venture that I can tease a little about, not too much, but there's something that's going to happen, and we've got the right places, signing up to be on board. We've got the right people in the right areas doing the right things at the right times for us now. And it's really just, it's going to be remarkable when this gets off the ground. And I'm going to say when, because it's going to happen. There's absolutely no way that it can't. Honestly, like you're in that room with you do the namaste morning ones, usually, right?
And you have to change the way you say stuff and think. That's always
It's really just your attitude towards things, and if you know that you can do it, you're going to. Like Woody Allen said, 80% of success is just showing up. I mean, it really is. It's just being there. You don't have to be good every day, but just learn from the shit you were bad at. So that's really what I'm trying to do. And I think that this movement and where it's going to go is the right direction. And I think putting my name behind it, the guys with the podcast as well, they know what they need to know, obviously, because I can't say much more until the ducks are all in a row. This is the most I can get out. However, it's going to help people, and that's what we want. That is most definitely what I want, is to help people. It just, the COVID hasn't affected me where it's affected some people. It's affected me in a different way, to where I've lost some good friends to, suicide. I've lost, actually I lost more friends to suicide this year than I have in any year of my life so far. So, unfortunately that's, that happens. It's a part of life. But I think that this can help, and that's what we want, is really to help. And if I can, man, if I can help those families that are there in some way, I will. If I can. I just don't know how yet. And that's really what we're trying to do, is help some sort of way. And that's what I'm going to do when in drive for, and that's what we're driving, is to help so many people, because we know that it's needed.
It sounds like if you keep following the path, it'll just lead you where you're meant to go. So I would just lean into that and let it take you where it's going to take you. Sometimes it's better to let it take you where it's going to take you than try to drive it. So
absolutely. And that's what we're doing right now, is we understand that we were trying to drive the ship on some forces here. And now it's like, all right, we've taken the ship out, out of the bay. We're in the ocean now. We're almost there, but we're just chilling. It's calm seas. We got some things we're shoring up, and we can talk more about it soon. And I don't know, maybe she gets to, I'd like her to actually be the one to do this. This is her moment. It ain't mine.
Yeah, well, we're going to have Jen on too, and let Jen Jen.
Oh, I hope so, because she's something the listeners, I think, would love to hear. She's a great person, and I'm happy to know her, and I'm more impressed, I think, with her drive than I've ever been with some people that just, they can't do that. They don't understand how hard that it is to just put in some damn work and make things happen and not take no for an answer. So it's wild.
It comes from the intention behind it too. Her intention's always good. So that's the most important part of that. Yeah.
And it's contagious.
Yeah. For sure. For sure. So what would you call this particular chapter of your life if you were going to write the story of your life?
Oh man, I've never been asked a question like that. You are insightful, my friend. You've been hanging out in that namaste room a little way so much.
I had these questions before that came along.
This is why you're good at this. We don't do these kinds of questions. We do. I can't say that. They're more in the moment of the same thing. But no, if I were to say this is going to be a chapter, this is going to be the one that you're going to you're going to see. I want to say this is the most improved moment. I want to say, in all honesty, I want to say this is where I'm going to shape what's going to happen in the next 30 to 40 years of my life. If I don't succeed now where I want, or if I don't succeed in the next maybe 20 years and maybe into the next chapter, we'll say that. And if I don't succeed then, and I can't get my idea to where it is, like obviously I'll keep going until I can. Some of those old entrepreneurs like Colonel Sanders and all those guys, they pushed forever, didn't they? What was it? Dave Thomas did it until he was like 65 or something. He hustled, before he got his break. And it's just different people that do that. And I don't know if I have that drive, because it's just I don't know if my body's going to make it that long, but man, I'll say just, if it can happen, it's going to be the most improved. It has to be, just because of the people that I'm surrounding myself with. There's a quote I heard I can't remember what book I read it in, but I'm sure you've heard of it. You can say it with pretty much anything. But if you have 4 friends that are millionaires and you hang out with just them, there's a really good chance that you're going to be a millionaire too.
Right. The people
you'll be the 5th. Yeah. And it's just about your network. It's about how you learn how to do things. And if you're not with those people and you're not figuring out how to improve, maybe create a legacy, create whatever it is that you drive, that you have, you got to figure out a way to do it. You can monetize anything. People were selling farts in bags, which was just air. I mean, come on. Like, you can really do anything to get money. If you say you don't have a job, you can really do anything to find a way to make some money. It's difficult. It's just, you got to swallow your ego and your pride, and you can probably have a good job sometimes, or a shitty job, whatever, but you're getting money. So, but yeah, it's the most improved.
And what's the most fulfilling part of what you do?
Oh man, seeing the example that I'm setting for my little one. To be honest, I have 2 kids, and I say little one right now because my other one's got he's a little bit slower. We're not sure what he has, so I can't say that he is autistic. I can't say he's anything. He's just not. He doesn't speak. He can say words. Well, not words, but he can say sounds and different consonants, and all. He can say it all. He's got the right movements. He just, I don't know. There's a disconnect from his brain to his mouth. He's 2.5, almost 3.
Oh, he's young still, though.
He is, but it's still abnormal with the work that he does. There's certain, like, there was things at birth that we had to take him for to help get him, clean, to help him out. He had a problem with his eye. He had a really, really bad, he had to have surgery to correct his vision. So he had a problem with that, which delayed a lot of the first part of his life. So that didn't help either, that he could just be a year behind, and it could be that way. But we don't want that to be the case. Obviously, we want him to be able to, it's frustrating for him. It's not for us, it's for him. But to see my oldest son and how he interacts with him, and how I have to learn all of this stuff because we do it all through video. So I'm learning this stuff from all of the all the therapies we do for my son. I'm learning it all. And we have to reactivate everything we learn for them for the week, what we get. And now he goes to different stuff because some of the stuff is relaxing, but not all of it. And when it does, he goes to his occupational therapy appointments or his speech therapy appointments to try to help him get him to move his mouth with his body, because he couldn't walk for a long time. Now he's running, jumping, climbing on things, can't stop, wants to flip, hang. He's rough and tough, tumble kid. And he takes it, but he wants to speak. There's so much in him that wants to come out, and music is his really big thing that wants him to do it. And, seeing my oldest son teach him when I'm not around, or knowing that he is, because I'm in the other room, but I can hear what's going on. Cause my oldest son, he's definitely the little leader for himself. So, I mean, he just turned 6, and he wants to have that responsibility. He likes to feel like he's in charge. He likes to feel good about himself. That's how he feels good. And it's fun to watch him take what I'm putting out and put it to use, but he's also trying to be a better person, but he doesn't understand that he's being a better person. I know what I'm doing for myself, but because he's mimicking me and watching what I'm doing more than he's ever done, I've really caught on to what he sees and does and watches now more than I've ever in my life. So it's fulfilling to watch that he's just become, I feel like, a better version of what I was at that age for myself. To see him go to school and the friends that he has and the people that he hangs out with and just the network, just the people that I have in my life, they're helping him. And I can't be more grateful to those people than I am already, just because they're helping me. They're helping me be a better person, to help my kid, and just to help everything, to help us all. And I think that that's what this is all about, isn't it?
I think so. I hope so.
Yeah.
So with all of that going on to 2020 also, how is it that you stay positive in the times where things seem a little bit too negative, or like in 2020 where we felt like we might not get out of it? What kept you positive through that?
um More or less, I have no choice but to be positive, if that makes sense. The reason that makes sense to me is because I've been down the dark path. I've seen the dark path. I'm not going to say what I've ever wanted to do or act on, but I will say that I couldn't ever do it. And there's a reason I couldn't ever do it. And it's because I know for a fact that I would hurt more, they would hurt more people for a longer time than I'm comfortable with. So I have no choice but to be an optimist. I understand that things suck. And once you understand that things suck, life gets better. When you come to grasp the fact that friction belongs in your life, that you can't do things without a little bit of, oh shit in your life. Like, if you don't have those moments, if you don't get married and get divorced, if you don't go and do something, if you don't get with that person, or you don't date that person, you don't go to that bar, you don't understand the difference is the different things that can happen all from the choices that you make. And I made so many shitty ones, but I always was like, man, this can't be what life is all about. This isn't it. This isn't the only thing that it can be. So I had no choice but to be more, I don't know. I just had to be positive. It's not built in I can't give up on myself. I have tried so many times to give up, but there's something inside that just says, don't be a bitch. And I'll say that in any way of whatever it is. It's just my mindset and how I think of, just stop whining, just get up and fucking do something. Sorry if I don't know how often you swear on your podcast, but I'm a passionate person, man. So when I speak like that, like I'm not going to fucking quit, and I can't because if I do, it's such a bad example.
Right. So you don't give yourself the option.
No, I really don't. And, I heard this, I talked about this with somebody before, not too long ago, actually. And he asked what my best piece of advice was. And I was like, I can tell you right now, I'm pretty sure it was from my drill instructor. He was like, what? And I was like, yeah. And I heard him say in his rough and tumble, I'll say, Spanish accent, which I was one of like the 6 people that could understand him because my dad sounds like him. So it was great, obviously. But when I heard him say it, he said it was you versus you. When you quit, you fail. And I heard him say it when I was running, and I forgot what we were doing, but we were running somewhere, because that's all we do in the Marine Corps is fucking run. So I know that's what we were doing at boot camp, because that's exactly where you learn. That's all you do in the Marine Corps is run. So get used to it. And I'll tell you, like, I heard him say it and it kind of stuck, but I forgot it though. That's the shittiest part, is that it stuck with me for so long. And then somewhere along the line, I just forgot. Like, I lost it. I lost everything about that. I don't know what it was that did it, but something did it. And yeah, now it's different.
Well, at least it came back. I think we always find that again when we need it. You can leave it for a little while, but then it comes when you most need it. It's going to come right back.
Yeah, I think so. You couldn't be more right. I think that's one of those signs that the universe gives you. Like, you lose some stuff, but then it's not one of those subtle ones. It's one of those ones that's like something smacks you in the face and you're just like, man, I need to fix this. I have to do better. And there's just everybody has that point, and I had mine. the shittiest part is that I had mine so I can't say I had mine at a late age, because I had mine earlier, and I had mine again. So it seems like every 10 years there's a new thing that I need to figure out. But I don't know.
Stray a little while, and then it brings you back to the path again, I guess. I guess we're allowed to stray for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not one of those people that believes in a lot of I believe in ghosts. I believe in the afterlife. I believe in, the universe and how that stuff all works. But what I will say is, we had a medium on our show. When we talked with him,
Oh, wow.
he was like, man, your wife is going to be the one that keeps you in line. So make sure you pay attention. That's obvious advice, but I know him from other pieces, but there's just something from him when he says it. It's like a different connection, obviously, probably because I was in the Marine Corps with him too. But I also didn't know him for all too long, maybe about a month. I earned his respect pretty quickly, but he didn't have much time for me to have to earn his, or I have to, for him to earn mine, I should say. And I earned his, but I don't know. He's got a good point. She's the better part of it. She keeps me in the right path. She drives me along. She drives the ship a lot more than people could know sometimes. I'm just the face usually, but that's because I'm okay with it. I'm not like, whatever. I'll be the first person to tell a bitch. Like, I don't care if you don't want to do it. I'll tell him, but I know she has no problem doing it, but I'll do it. Like, fine. But like I said, I have the right support from the right people. And because of that, I couldn't be more blessed. Really, I couldn't. And I'm glad you're in the circle too, to be honest, Tommy. Like, I'm glad to know you from Clubhouse. I'm glad to have talked with you. So thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you for the opportunity.
No problem. Can you tell everybody where they can find you online? Your Instagram is your main one, right?
Absolutely. So I have I use Instagram more than I use Facebook. I just can't stand how Facebook is operates now. So I really stay away from it. We have one, but I don't really care if you find me. You're not going to see anything but me and my goofiness on my personal page from my Facebook. So just find the Wetdown. We have our own page. It's the Wetdown Podcast. You can find us there. We have my socials. You can find me on Instagram at Aaron Macho, or you can find the Wetdown Podcast, one or the other. You'll see us. I post in between both. You can find us on Twitter. I do not have a personal Twitter, but we are at the Wetdown on Twitter. We have our YouTube channel, the Wetdown Podcast, as you know. we premiere every Tuesday on Spotify, iTunes, Apple. And we do have a new episode every week with a new guest every week. We are always crunching behind the scenes. I will say we've got some up and coming names. I don't want to say those names. I want to say celebrities. We'll just say celebrities for now, or just random people. I don't know how they want to be called. I'm not used to this space really yet. So I'm trying to figure out what's the right way to give people the right respect, but also keep their ego where it needs to be, because I'm keeping mine here. So I got to keep theirs there.
We call them personalities.
Personality. That's a good one. So when we have the new personalities coming on our show, I mean, we've got some people that are, I'll hint this one because we haven't told anybody, but he's toured with Rob Schneider and has worked with other names in Hollywood in the comedic aspect. So we have some of that. We have, this week's up and coming episode I'm really excited about. So that's going to be episode 18. Like I said, we premiere every Tuesday. Wow. So you can check us out there on Spotify, iTunes, Anchor, Google, everywhere you can listen to a podcast. And on the weekends, we post our YouTube video for the full version to watch in case anybody wants to watch. Again, everything's at the Wetdown Podcast and thewetdown.com. We have that. You can find us all there.
Nice. And we were talking about all the things that you learned during the last year and that you've learned recently. But what is it that you hope that we've all learned as a collective that we will keep with us going forward and not forget? Especially this past year.
Absolutely. That's to understand that this can't be the new normal. That's what has to be, that new normal phrase has to be tossed the fuck out of everybody's vocabulary, in all honesty. And I'm going to say that from the bottom of my heart. I don't care if an employer somewhere listens to this, and if they disagree with me, get your head out of your ass and you agree when you go home. So I'm going to tell you right now, that's really what it is. People need other people. We are social beings. We do not need to stay at home all the time. We need to figure out a way. This thing's not going anywhere. We need to coexist somehow with it. We need to do it safely. I'm not an advocate to say, oh, have to wear a mask. I think that the whole shit's redundant. However, I'm still going to do it for other people because that's what I'm supposed to do as just a human being. I don't agree with some of the stuff, but I also want others to be safe. And that's what you have to think about, is just other people in this. I don't want to get sick. I don't want anybody else to get sick. I'm doing my part. Everybody else needs to do their part. Right now, what I feel like is happening is there's always that one asshole that ruined it in the Marine Corps for everybody for the weekend. And I feel like these little, oh, let's go celebrate the Super Bowl. Let's go do this. Just stay the fuck home for a little bit. We can celebrate when it gets hot again. And then hopefully by then, because it hasn't done anything, we can get out. We've already sat at home for 6 months to a year. Welcome to the 1 year anniversary, by the way, of 2 weeks to 2 weeks to flatten the curve. So we're at that level. Next, what is it? 2 weeks is our 1 year anniversary to our stimulus payments ever given out by the government just to give you money to shut up. So there's that. So we're almost there, but I think that's what people need to do, is really just be there for each other. Who cares what your opinions are? Who cares how the election went? Who cares what it is? Just be a good person. That's all, really, that's all you need to be. Stay that way. Whatever, problems you're having, you have them, but check on other people too, and definitely don't try to pour from an empty cup. If you're not doing good, say something. Don't try to go help somebody until you feel better, because there's a lot of that happening in this. That's what happened with, like I had said, and from my experience with my friend, the friends that I've lost because of suicide this year alone. So those people were the kinds of people that love to help, but never said anything. Everyone has to do that. You have to speak up for yourself. There's no shame in it. Just let it out. In all honesty, let it out. And I think that's what people need to take.
So what's one thing that you absolutely cannot live without?
Ooh. Not gonna lie, right now it's my CBD, because my bones, man, I'm not sponsored by Kill Cliff. I'm just trying this. I tried their sample pack. I'm not gonna lie, man. If you like energy drinks, if you like some stuff, this is the Flamin' Joe. I'm a pineapple fan, but I don't know. The spicy thing doesn't really do it for me at the end. But I'm not gonna waste it. But for me, it's that and a good book. I need to have access to a way to get a new good book at least every month. I need that. I've been listening to books on Audible. I have credits building up because I keep going back through some of the books that I've already listened to. So as of right now, it's just a little bit of relief in a really good book. My family, of course, we all know that, but I felt like that's understood.
That was obvious, yeah. And what's something that you wish we could all live without?
Actually, I wish we could go without cell phones, to be honest.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Just cell phones, though. If you got rid of only cell phones and the only way to communicate was a screen like this for you to talk, that's it. So when you got home, hey, what's going on, everybody? It would make you not want to, but the only way you could talk and do it is you'd had to be standing up. It had to be like the old school days where you had your phone in the kitchen with the long rope, Yeah. My parents used to have that. So, and it's funny too, we'll talk about this sometime, like how people go like this versus this. Now, if you ask kids to do this, they don't do this, they go like this, because that's all they saw. Yeah, you're like, what the hell is this? Why are you holding it? Why are you holding that? Like, what are you doing?
but you want to limit communication to when it specific times instead of it being free.
Just phones, because if you can take away a phone, you can be in the moment that much more. We're so focused on trying to be caught up with people everywhere else that we're not seeing the right connections that we have at home that you can be tarnishing. And I'm obviously, like, I was an addict, I'll say that, to Clubhouse. So for that short amount of time, and I really had to shut it off. I turn it off. I schedule it in my day now, so I know when to do it. I keep people pinged out. Those people can text me if they want to. If they say this is big enough, if they say it's big enough, and they would like to have me show up, cool. If it's just a little thing, awesome. If I have time, I'll do it. But as of late, driving the podcast, my days are booked. I got to be a dad. I got to be a husband. I got to be everybody. It's so much to do that I don't know. I have to find ways to do it and keep my day whole.
If you had to describe yourself using 3 hashtags, what 3 hashtags would you use?
Oh man, hashtags. I don't know.
Social media.
Hashtags. He's short. He's not Seth Rogen, and he's he's fucking loud, but he can't hear. So
Those are fair.
yeah, those are probably the 3 hashtags that I have. That I do talk loud. I know that. My wife is probably sitting, I got my own little area for this, but she's probably sitting down there going, shut up. So,
well, I do want to thank you for stopping and taking some time for us, and I'll see you on Clubhouse for sure. And hopefully others will find you on Clubhouse. Look for him on Clubhouse.
Yes, no, I gotta be better at that and come in for those namaste mornings and hang out with you guys. I feel like I'm not mindful enough, according to my last guest on our show. Oh, hey. Molly said, or not Molly. Wow, I'm sorry, Amy. Amy said that I wasn't mindful enough, and that I need to practice more. And I was like, okay, I will. I thought I was doing it enough. So thank you.
I want everybody to look up the Wetdown Podcast and go there and listen to them, and then we will see you on Clubhouse. Thank you so much.
Thank you.